All right. And thank you. We're on Bristol Channel's 591. I'm doing interview with the resident today with our very own Jim Button. Before I start, I appreciate everybody who's tuned into this. But just as a prerequisite, I know that we can't have a lot of stuff going on during quarantine, but we're just trying to keep things interesting and fun. And I figured it'd be a good way to start a new little series of just getting to know some of the residents a little better. So here we have Mr. Button. How you doing today?
Very good.
Any complaints?
Nope,
And you're not here against your will.
not yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh well. All right. So let's get started. I don't plan to keep you here forever, but so where are you from?
Glendale, New York.
So you've been in New York your whole life then?
Been all my life.
Whole life. Do you like it here in New York?
It's interesting.
It's interesting. Besides the taxes, right?
Yeah,
They always get you there. But you have any siblings or family?
I have 4 children.
Ooh. How are they doing?
They're all doing good.
Good to hear. You married at all?
I was married 63 years to a
Congratulations.
beautiful girl
Oh,
named Dorothy.
Dorothy. That's good to hear. I'm very happy for you there.
Huh?
So I'm happy for you there.
Okay.
Um, what are some of your favorite hobbies or things you like to do growing up?
Well, I played a lot of basketball and softball and neighborhood sports.
I gotcha. I was gonna say anytime I go into your room, I always see that some sports are up on the TV.
Oh yeah, I'm always on sports networks.
I gotcha. You played out in Glendale. Did you play for any sports teams at the high
No,
school?
we
Or
just played. We just played regular.
just for fun?
Just for fun,
Yeah.
but for a barrel of beer or something.
Just get the boys together and get
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, well, what did you go to school for?
Electricity.
Did you
At
end up?
that time, I went to vocational. My father said you got to work with your hands.
Mm,
I wanted to go to Richmond Hill. He said no.
he said no. So then, what did you end up doing?
Well, when I graduated, I went in the Navy,
Okay.
and I got a discharge from there right away because of my legs.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And then I started to do other odd jobs and that. I went to Fairchild Camera, which was a defense project at that time.
Very cool. Okay.
They put cameras in fighter planes and everything through the front of the plane, and it would work with the spinning wheel. I don't know how they did it, but it used to take camera shots.
Really? So would it be like an aerial shot for
Yeah,
planes?
an aerial shot.
That's very cool. So, actually, someone I know works for the DEA,
Yeah.
and they use a lot of that. They'll fly like planes or drones
Oh, yeah.
over fields and take
Well,
pictures.
yeah,
of
but
them.
there's belly cameras where they're taking field
Yeah.
over everything.
That's very cool, though. That's actually really interesting. What other jobs did you work?
Well, then I went into the police department in
Mhm.
1955,
Okay.
and then I had an interesting life there.
I was gonna say, you want to tell us some stories about that? I believe you said you were a detective, correct?
Yeah,
I'm sure you saw a lot.
I saw a lot and I know a lot.
What's one of your favorite cases?
Well, this one here was a supermarket robbery where they shot a police officer
Oh my
in
lord.
a stakeout booth. They used to have a lot of robberies, so what they would do is put a stakeout booth in the supermarket and put two cops in there watching out for robberies.
Yeah.
And this one, the perpetrator walked in. He had two other associates with him, and picked up a Pampers box and put the gun underneath, and he knocked on the door, and when it opened, he shot the cop.
Jesus. Very
So,
sorry to hear that. Were you friends with him?
Huh?
Were you close at all with the?
No, well, I didn't know who the hell was working. I worked the squad, so we were just, going around. in the police department, we call catching cases. They would divvy up the time you're working. If you worked 8 hours, I would catch 4 hours, and my partner would catch the other four.
I got you.
If you worked nights, it'd be 5 and 5, and if you had another person with you, they would catch the last 5. So it was. So we were on patrol, and when we heard the news that there was a shooting, we were the first on the scene. So it was where the cop gets shot. There's every cop in a nation comes to the
Yeah,
aid.
no, I was gonna say that's very
So the
serious.
inspector said to me, "Who's catching?" I said, "I am." So he said, "Okay, what do you want?" I said, "I want everybody out of here now." I said, "I think I got prints on the box, and I don't want anybody around
Yeah, you
touching
don't want
anything. I didn't
any
want anybody to
evidence
touch
tampered.
anything." And I sent for I had a friend in latent fingerprint squad because I was there for 8 years in the latent fingerprints.
Wow. Okay.
And I said, "Andy, I want everything dusted in this place, especially this
You weren't
box."
gonna let this go.
So, so when you're assigned a case like that, you're off the chart. You know, you're working strictly days on the case, and I would submit prints to the latent fingerprint squad so they could identify this guy. And through a witness, we found out that was a cab driver.
Really?
And what we did was we brought him in. We knew he didn't do it. He was in the cab, but he was going to carry them away.
So he was a getaway driver.
A getaway driver. So I had him sitting there for weeks on end. He wouldn't give up anybody. So I just had him come up every day and just sit in the waiting room. So
You trying to crack him?
well, we tried, but
I got you.
but he just wouldn't go. So about 3 or 4 weeks later, my friend called me from the latent squad, and he said we got a print, and they identified the guy. So that night we went and we got him, and it was a big deal. We had things in the newspapers and everything.
I was gonna
that we
say
got
that
this guy.
it was probably a big thing, especially when the town was probably in disarray, knowing that a police officer was killed on duty. So
The thing was, so I got the commissioner's medal, for solving the case, but
congratulations.
I had 2 honor legion medals with it,
Really?
and in all I had around 21 medals.
Jesus. Do you still have all of them?
Yeah, I got them on a plaque somewhere.
Good for you.
But yeah, it was a good case,
I got you. Wow, that's actually very interesting. I'm glad to know that you were part of that. Did it bring you any feelings of joy to know that you were able to, or
No,
righteousness?
that was just a case for me.
Oh, it was just
I mean, I was still catching other cases in
I
the
got
meantime,
Was this more of just Tuesday?
Huh?
Was this more of just any other Tuesday?
No, that was it.
I got you. Oh well. I remember also hearing that you were Elvis's bodyguard.
Well, when I was a rookie cop in the 18th precinct, that was in Manhattan, the West Side, I was assigned to Elvis when he went on the Ed Sullivan show.
Really?
Yeah, it was just like a formality, me and another guy. So.
I see. Did you meet him at all, or?
Oh yeah. We pushed him in the cab and stayed in the cab with him and rode him to the railroad.
I see. Was he? So Elvis has a few stages in his life. Was he looking good at that time, or?
He looked good all the time. I'll tell you another thing. I was in Las Vegas for my 25th anniversary
Viva.
with my wife, and we were watching Jimmy Durante's show, and he came in with his wife.
Really?
And I went over to him. I said, "I don't know if you remember me, but I was one of your bodyguards." So we talked a little bit, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm celebrating my anniversary with my wife." And he bought me champagne and everything.
Really?
Yeah. But he didn't remember me now.
Oh.
I was 25 years later.
Yeah, he's probably had a lot of bodyguards, but still, that's very awesome.
Yeah, I had the monkeys when they were in town for a
Really,
week. They were wild.
were they hard to keep track of?
They were at the long, I think, Forest Hill Stadium
Okay.
for shows every day. You know,
Hmm.
so I had them for the whole week.
And you had to bodyguard them.
But this is off the job. I was out of job by then,
Oh, okay, I
and it was
see.
a private job.
I was gonna say it must be a little interesting working being a police officer and bodyguarding, but that makes more
Oh no,
sense.
I wasn't a police officer. I was retired then. I retired in 20 years,
Oh well, okay.
and I didn't want to hang around because I wasn't going to get first grade. That's all hooks, you know. You got to know people to get first grade in the police department,
I got you.
and I wasn't one of the favorite, you know. I was just a plain old detective.
I got you. So you cut your losses.
Yeah, well, there's better things outside than the police department, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I could get another pension somewhere.
I understand. So then, what did you do after the police department?
After the police department went into Wackenhut Security, it was at that time was very huge.
Really?
He was an ex FBI guy that ran this thing,
Okay.
and I had after a while I was promoted to the Long Island director,
Wow. Good for you.
and I had the biggest payroll. I had the Pan Am. I had Wall Street, the background checks for Wall Street.
Really?
I had a big office.
Wow. That's that's quite the story.
Yeah, well,
How did you enjoy doing that?
I enjoyed it, but I was getting a short shrift there. The guy in Manhattan was taking all my money. Of
Oh,
course, he was losing business in Manhattan.
I see.
So anything that I created, the money, and he would take most of it. And they said, well, Jerry needs it for things. And I said, yeah. But I was told I get 3% of the bottom line. And I'm getting screwed.
And you're getting shortchanged
So
for all
so
the.
they gave me like $12,000 or something to calm me down, and I quit.
I don't.
I could have got 100,000.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. It's 12,000 versus 100 is
Well, you know, this guy Jerry was in the FBI and everything else, and they covered for him.
I see.
So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Did you have any interesting stories doing that, or was it more just
Well,
about
I was hired to watch Billy Joel's first wife,
really?
and so I got a hold of two black women, black detectives, and I said I got a job for you, and they were working on the side, and I gave them a good salary, you know, $50 an hour,
Really? Oh, that's
because
that's so good
I was
now.
getting big money, you know,
Mm-hmm. That was
and
Billy Joel's wife.
so it was a riot. They were watching her, and all of a sudden she calls me up. She says, "Mr. Button, they scare me." I said, "Well, it's better to be safe than sorry, you know."
Yeah.
But could you get me some other ones? They'd scare me.
Mm-mm.
It was a riot.
Wow. Still, you you would rather you'd rather nothing, no botched jobs there.
Yeah.
So
Well, at that time, Billy Joe was wild. You know, he was into drugs and everything.
yeah, that
So
we
she was afraid for her life.
we were gonna bring him onto the radio show, but we weren't too sure about that one.
Oh, he's great.
He is good. Oh well. Let's see. Let me see if I got anything else to bother you on. You've been doing good so far. I really appreciate you coming out here. Here's an interesting one. Um, when COVID ends officially and we're out of quarantine, what is the first thing you're going to do, and why?
I'm going to go shopping with my daughter. Buy some clothes.
Get some new
Get a
threads
nice.
on.
Have a nice dinner.
that it?
That's it.
That's it. I don't blame you. What are you gonna get for dinner? You gonna go Blackstones and get something nice?
I don't know. Maybe Italian food. Who
Uh,
knows?
I got you. What advice would you give to the younger generation right now?
Well, right now, the, the younger generation is getting, they're not getting the benefit of a good education. They're doing away with geography and all the big things. They're getting
Mm-hmm.
rid of our history.
Yeah, and they're trying to censor a lot of it too.
Yeah, they're trying to cancel it all out. I would say stick to your mother and father. Let them tell you what's going on.
That's true. It's kind of scary how things are taking a turn these
Well,
days.
don't forget if they're on scholarships and that they have to pay attention to the professor, or else he could cut their scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
So
No,
a lot of them
I
got
go
to
to
keep
college.
quiet.
I go to college, and it's a very interesting environment. I'll say
Yeah.
that. So, and then here's one Angelina wanted me to ask you. What is the true meaning of love and life to you? You don't have to
What
answer
is the
if you don't
true
want to.
meaning? Well, my wife and I were like brother and sister. We went everywhere. We did everything. We went all over the country, Mexico,
Wow.
and we had a great life. Especially when I was out in Las Vegas, I could go anywhere from there. I had a townhouse in a timeshare in Cabo,
Really?
New Mexico. It was great, and we used to go there a couple of times a year. And
That's really
then
good. Was
I
it by the
used to go to
water?
Santa Barbara. I was my uncle's executor at the end. He was a he was a doctor. Him and his wife were doctors, and they had a little money, and they used to give it to all the relatives every year.
That's really good.
So I was like dole out all the money. It was a riot. I have 14 cousins,
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
and I used to dole it out all the time.
14 cousins can be a lot.
It was a riot.
Oh well. Do you want to share one of your favorite adventures with your wife, or?
Well, we always had great vacations.
All right. Um, what is your favorite meal or cocktail?
My favorite meal is spaghetti and meatballs, plain and simple.
That explains why you want Italian when you get out of here.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty. You can get that anywhere too, and it's hard to mess that up.
yeah.
So that's good. And then, what about your favorite cocktail?
I used to love Scotch and soda.
Okay, my brother's a big fan of rum and coke,
Okay.
but that's always a good one. And then I'll leave you off with this. What do you enjoy about the Bristol?
I guess talking to everybody here.
You got a very good community here.
Yeah, we have a tight knit community, and a lot of times we do a lot of things here. When it's no COVID, but
Yeah, we've been trying to keep activities good, but it's sort of tough sometimes.
it is tough.
Oh well. All right. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Jim. I actually
Okay. Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming out.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you everybody for who watched. This has been Interview with the Resident with our very own Jim Button. So, you all take care and have a lovely day, and I'll be leaving you.